When it comes to mixed martial arts, or any kind of sport at that, fans always have one fantasy showdown they think would be perfect. It usually involves some of the biggest names who've never had a chance to go head-to-head, but in most cases, it never happens. But there might just be good news for UFC fans, and in today's video, we're getting into exactly what this fantasy showdown would look like. First off, is it even a fair fight? If you've been keeping up with the UFC recently, you'll know that one of its biggest stars is planning his even bigger comeback, and fans already know who they want to see him face off against. Jon Jones is ready to return, and the UFC is planning to kick things off by having him fight Francis Ngannou. But should this fight even happen? Are the two opponents evenly matched? Former heavyweight world champion Bas Rutten has quite a bit to say about the whole thing, which might affect how fans see the upcoming fight. Even though Jon Jones has been out of the game for quite a while now, he doesn't think that it's going to hurt his chances of winning. When you're able to defend the title 11 times in a row, you don't have much to worry about. Rutten totally agrees with this, and he said he thinks that Jones is the best ever, and he even called him unblemished and undefeated, saying his only loss can't even be counted. He says that he's a man who has always improved and fixed every problem that he had. Clearly, the Hall of Fame star is a huge fan of the ex-light heavyweight champion. He says that he's good everywhere, and even went on to say that it's crazy how talented the guy is. So when it comes to fighting someone like Ngannou, Rutten only has one piece of advice for Jones, and it's that he has to look out for his opponent's power. That's definitely the one thing that he has working in his favor, and if Jon Jones doesn't handle it well, it could cost him his comeback fight. Now that would hurt, in more ways than one. So what are the updates on the actual fight? While we don't know anything for sure yet, we can definitely say that this pairing is in the works for UFC 285. They're scheduled to face off in March of 2023, making it one of the first huge events of the year. The last time we saw Jones fight was way back in February 2020, when he took on Dominic Reyes at UFC 247, walking away victorious. The original plan for his comeback was a fight with Stipe Miocic in December of 2022, but that never happened, which means we can now look forward to March instead. He gave up his belt a while ago, and he's been training to move into the heavyweight division ever since. Apparently, he's pretty good in that class, according to his coach, Brandon Gibson. He praised the man's talent and added that he's also one of the most intelligent fighters we'll ever see in the ring. On the other side of things, Ngannou's head coach, Eric Nixick, has already been fielding calls from UFC execs about the fight. They talked about the ideal timeline and opponent, and the only thing Ngannou and his team wanted was Jon Jones. Apparently, that's perfectly in line with what the UFC wants, which means they're going to do whatever they can to make it happen. Until we know for sure, we'll just have to wait and watch the two train. But wait, Rutten still has more to say. Like we mentioned earlier, the fight is one of the most highly anticipated of the year, and that means everyone's got something to say about it. One of them happens to be Jones's huge fan, Bas Rutten, who already thinks Jones is going to win with all his talent. While talking about the potential matchup, he said that while size matters and Ngannou has the definite advantage there, Jones's wrestling is insane, and he's got a solid shot at defeating him no matter what. He talked about his reach and how he's predicting some takedowns pretty early into the fight. He went on to call him a master of strategy, saying that he might actually take the exact opposite route and not try a takedown for a couple of rounds at all. Jones might actually wait it out until the actual championship rounds, where he's gotten into his opponent's head enough, and he'll choose that time to come out in full force. But he's not just on Jones's side, he also fully knows that Ngannou is a tough one to beat. He revealed that the fighter has started training in Bang Muay Thai, a completely different style with different stances. He's much quicker now, and that'll be an extra challenge for Jones. Not only is Ngannou much quicker and lighter on his feet now, he's still got the advantage with the power and stamina. It looks like it may just be a question of training, preparation, and sheer luck at this point. Next, did Jones already hint at his comeback? The whole martial arts world is waiting for an official statement about the comeback, but we haven't heard any news from anywhere yet. But it looks like Jones might have dropped a little hint while we weren't looking, which may just be another step towards the fight we all want to see. Since he took a break to focus on moving weight classes, Jones has been plotting his comeback, and we all thought it was a done deal last year when he tweeted Champion 2022 in August of that year. Fans were overjoyed to see him hint at a comeback, but it never came, and they were disappointed once again. Now he's tweeted with the hashtag Champion 2023, and this time, fans are a lot more skeptical about whether they believe him. One user just said that he'll only believe Jones is back once he steps in the cage, and even went so far as to call him retired and accused him of trolling people. Fans are definitely not falling for that trick again. And what's even more surprising is that a lot of them believe he just can't do it in the heavyweight class. He might stand at 6'4" and be just a few pounds short of the limit, but there's still plenty of doubt. They think that he's just too small to take on the challenge. There were also rumors that he asked UFC boss Dana White for a huge $30 million payout for his fight against Ngannou, but it looks like those might just be part of the gossip grapevine, since Jones himself has denied ever saying anything on those lines. Moving on, here's what another former star had to say. With a fight that's been this hyped up, it's no surprise that a lot of former champions are speaking out about it. They've seen the world of fighting, and they all want to talk from experience. One of these ex-stars happens to be Chael Sonnen, who had a lot to say about the potential fight. He said that Jones versus Ngannou is the biggest fight the UFC could possibly have put on, which we already know from the number of people that are talking about it. But he also added that it's one of the strangest situations surrounding a fight in a while. It just so happens that the two fighters have a combined 4 years of inactivity between them, which Sonnen called a very peculiar situation. While we already know why Jones took time off, we also have to remember that Ngannou hasn't fought for almost a year either, after he defended his title against Ciryl Gane. After that, he had an injury in his knee ligaments, and he had to undergo surgery for it. That's not all. He's also been caught up in some contract trouble with the UFC, which is the next best thing after an injury to keep you out of the octagon for a while. It's definitely a weird situation. Two of the top guys in the game, who've actually been out of the game for a while, are coming back to fight it out against each other. Whichever way it happens, it's going to be a fight to remember. Up next, what else did Sonnen say? Naturally, it's not enough just to say the fight's going to be an unexpected one. Sonnen also went into plenty of detail as to what he thinks is going to happen during the fight, and he may have made some pretty good points. In a YouTube video, Sonnen actually said that he had some pretty big doubts about Jones being able to win against the current heavyweight champion. He said that he's definitely a talented wrestler and amazing at takedowns, but his age might be a huge factor in the outcome of the fight. Sonnen spoke from personal experience, since he also noticed that his takedown abilities took a hit once he started getting older, which might become the case with Jones as well. He also added that Jones always relied on his skill, not his power, in fights, and that kind of tactic just doesn't work as well in the heavyweight division. He says that he doesn't expect the wrestling to be sharp, since he doubts Jones will be able to adapt his fighting style too well to the new weight class. But he was also full of praise for the guy. He called him a trick boxer, saying that his kicks are especially great. He pointed out that the whole fighting style is unique, and his opponents can never anticipate his next move in a fight, giving him a huge advantage. He's definitely been able to master the element of surprise, making it tough for opponents to defend themselves. And finally, here's what the big guy has to say. While the former champions have some heavy analysis for the upcoming fight, the UFC president isn't afraid to say what all the fans have always thought. Back in 2020, when Jones was fighting his last few matches, he called him the GOAT, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. Dana White even said that everything he'd managed to do was only a small part of his potential, and he could do so much more if he just learned to do it right. What's more, he even disagreed with the UFC's own judging, saying that Jon Jones has never lost a fight. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on this fight? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.